Cool. Travis, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
I've seen your podcast like all over, so I'm like, I finally got invited.
You're like, I got the invite.
I got the golden ticket.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you're able to make it. Glad we were able to schedule it. You've definitely been on my list. It's kind of just have to go through my whole list of people. But yeah, let me go into how I know you. I've already read your bio. So basically, we met in actually November 2021. So we'll show that video after this. But so we met through Untitled.
Mm-hmm.
We did the 17 cover Rock with you at Santa Monica Pier. We were just talking about that before.
Great cover.
Yeah, it was such a good cover. Yeah. And like my first impression of you was, well, someone told me that like you were the oldest guy.
Yeah.
And then normally I'm the oldest guy on the team. And so I was like, oh, this Travis dude, right? And then so we met there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, usually K-pop cover teams are like a majority girls.
Yep.
So this cover was special because through Untitled, it was all 13 of us were guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pretty fun cover.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I also learned that you are super into fitness and bowling, things that we talked about and things that we're both into. So I feel like it was kind of like inevitable. And also, yeah, cosplay as well. So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, any other clarifications on what you're up to, what you're doing?
Well, I mean, currently in just normal life, engineering, interest here and there, but I'm really into like Pokemon TCG right now.
I heard, yeah.
TCG Pocket.
Yeah.
So I think, since you invited me, it would be an honor for you to do my evening poll right now.
See how my luck is.
To see how your luck is.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up real quick.
I feel like I've only done this like once for someone.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, here, just touch this. I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, so basically you're gonna pick this pack, and then you're gonna open it.
Can you explain to the audience they're not familiar with Pokemon TCG? Like, what is it?
So it's basically a mini-sized trading card game. It's really limited based on the rules compared to the normal trading card game. Since it's so simple, a lot of people love playing it, and a lot of people just like the dopamine of opening packs and potentially getting a rare card.
I love dopamine, yeah.
Exactly. So I have a lot of friends who just play without even battling, and they just try to open the packs and get like lucky, right?
Yeah.
Like what we're doing right now. So this is the newest pack, the what's it called, a Triumphant Light with Arceus. So we're gonna click here. We're gonna click open, and then you're gonna select. There's gonna be a wheel of cards, right? Okay. So you can roll just use here and pick one.
Just pick one.
Yeah, pick one and then tap it.
All right.
Okay, it's gonna tell you to swipe open the top right there.
Like
yep.
This?
You cut it. See, did you get lucky?
I don't know what.
Okay, so let's not peek, right? So you like tap one at a time to see if you got something good.
So
let's see.
Tap.
Yep. Okay. There's 5 cards in the pack, so that's second one.
I don't know who Hodum is.
Krogunk. Okay. Usually the 5th card's the best one, so let's see what's up. Clefable.
Fable.
All right.
Okay. It's not sparkled a little.
It's a little sparkle. The 2 diamond. All right. Yeah. But I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So not
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not lucky. Woo.
It's all good.
Because then I would have been swarmed by people like, oh no, we need Jar's luck. So that you saved me.
You're welcome.
It reminds me of the first time I went to Vegas and gambled, like slot machines. I did a slot machine, lost money instantly, and then I went to a blackjack table. I've never seen $20 disappear so fast. It might have been like 1.5 seconds. My $20 was gone. I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
And so I think it was a sign from the universe to don't gamble, which I'm grateful for.
Hey, that's good. I mean, that's $20 down, and then you're like, hit me, bust. All right, there it goes.
Yeah,
right?
it was pretty fast. But cool. So anything else? Any other clarifications we should know?
I think you got it down. I mean, that's how we met, and we stayed in touch and have similar interests. So it was bound for this to happen.
Yeah. Also, and then your New Year's Eve party last year was super fun too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun. So,
Great Gatsby themed.
Yeah. It was super fun. Again, lots of Untitled people, lots of other people from around too. So that was dope.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, the audience will have heard your bio by now. So we'll go into our first topic. So usually I start off with new guest origin story. So, where'd you grow up? What were your main influences? And what set you on the path to where you are today?
Got you.
And it's like a big question, but it's like biggest influences that come to mind.
So I was born here in LA, more specifically Mission Hills up there in the valley.
Okay.
Lived in Santa Clarita like my whole minor life before 18. So it was really sheltered there. My family was a really big deal. Got really close with my cousins. From my dad's side, I had like 8 cousins like growing up before I hit like 18. So we got super close. And then my mom's side, there's a few cousins as well. That was like my whole life was like family. I had friends in school, but since I lived like across the whole town and went to a school that was like 30 minutes away from my home, I didn't get that chance to hang out with them a lot during school, like elementary school, junior high, things like that. So my family is a really big influence. Not just mom and dad, but like aunts, uncles, grandma, sister, cousins. And then super sheltered. So kind of introverted, right? When I went to college, I went to UCSB. It's, not a very sheltered community up there. And that really helped me to blossom, I guess. Slowly became less homesick. I remember the first like 2 weeks of school, I was like, okay, only 10 more days before I can go home, But
did you go home on the weekends, or like what was your like cadence?
When I first started at UCSB.
Oh, wait, that's pretty far actually. Now
it's like an hour and a half drive.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
It's not bad.
Okay, so then what was your cadence for going home?
It's like going home like every other weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though I had like an aunt up there, like I was like the type in high school where like I didn't want change. Change was like scary to me since I was so like sheltered, and it was like, man, like if I can go back to my normal life. At some point, I almost considered community college because it was basically like an extension of high school. I could just stay at home.
Yeah.
But I took the leap and went to UCSB and like started going home like every other weekend. And then as I got used to being away from home, started getting like once a month, once a quarter, and then basically just on the breaks.
What was your like major, and what were your career aspirations at that point?
So I was a mechanical engineering major. Aspiration was to make cool stuff. People always ask like, why'd you pick like an ME, right? It's honestly because coming out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Being, Asian, my parents are always like, be a doctor, take care of us when you're older, or when we're older as a doctor, right? I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really want to do that. So I was like, what else is kind of interesting? And I liked Legos. I liked building Gundam model kits like growing up. So I was like, I want to make cool stuff, but I don't know what I want to make. So I think mechanical engineering gives me the most flexibility of going into like the media industry, like special effects or automotive, aerospace. So that's why I picked mechanical engineering, because I didn't really know what I really wanted.
Okay. So then near the end of your college life and then going into like the working life, was there a transition there? And like, what was your, I guess, career trajectory at that point?
Yeah, again, since I was like I am like the oldest of my my family in terms of all the cousins, right? I didn't really have footsteps to follow. Didn't know what the working life is going to be like. So there was a transition period where, yes, I'm graduating college with a mechanical engineering degree, but I don't know what I really want to do yet. Like what options are out there. Looking back, I kind of have other ideas of what I would have done, but I basically was just applying for jobs that were taking like any, newly grad engineer. I got a position at a company that was close to UCSB, fortunately, and I was able to get my foot in the door there. And working there kind of opened my eyes on the different types of engineering for mechanical engineers. And I became more of a process/manufacturing engineer. So not designing the actual product, but how to make it. And that's similar to what I was interested in, because I was like, I like putting things together. I like getting my hands dirty. And I don't want to just sit in the computer and just like kind of like design it all.
Gotcha.
Design's still cool.
Yeah.
I still get to do it as a manufacturing engineer, like tooling and things like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get like on the field too and get my hands dirty making stuff.
Okay. So then fast forward 10-ish years later. So what are you doing now? And I know you're going back to school at UCLA for like project management, right? So like, what do you currently do?
So I'm currently a supervisor of manufacturing engineers. So
you evolved into a supervisor.
I've slowly evolved into a supervisor.
Yeah.
If you asked me 5 years ago when I got the position at my current company, will you be a supervisor? Like, nah, I don't want to be a manager. I want to be like the most technical, like the smartest chief engineer out there, where I'm like go-to guy for everyone's technical questions.
Yeah.
But I slowly evolved into this managerial supervisor role because our previous supervisor left, and I really liked how our core team dynamic was going, and I didn't want an outsider to come in and get the position and change it all up. So I'm like, I guess I'll take one for the team. Yeah. I'll step up and become the supervisor. And it's been pretty solid.
So like, have you done management before then? Or is that like why you're kind of doing project management or like getting education there?
There was no management in terms of like professionally.
Yeah.
I was the founder of SS805 at UCSB, their K-pop dance team. So I had some like leadership roles there. I've slowly always drifted towards like some sort of leadership, captain of the bowling team, the intramural soccer, like, you know, captain, and Pokemon Go community up there. I was kind of leading that too, but never like a professional managerial role.
So I was gonna ask, like, in that sense, so you've had all these experiences, like learning how to be a leader and manager. Like, were there any, I guess, what were the growing pains of you now having to step up to this supervisor role? And I guess, you know, you've done this in other ways, but like anything stands out to you or comes to mind?
Learning to delegate, because I'm coming from a place where I'm like super technical and getting my hands dirty and like going out there solving problems myself. But then when you become a supervisor or like a higher level, all your tasks get like multiplied tenfold. So if you're trying to do everything yourself, it's really difficult. And I try to look out after my teams. Like, don't want to overload them with work, but then you end up taking a lot on yourself. So you really have to learn how to trust your team and like start delegating that stuff. Versus all the other things I managed before were more like self-managed. Even though I was like leading things, it wasn't a whole lot of delegating stuff to other people to do. So I think that's definitely the toughest part.
That makes sense. Are the people, not that this matters too much, but are there the people that you manage, are they younger than you or are there some older than you, or like what's the vibe?
It's a mix. I'm on the, if you took like the median, I'm like on the upper end of the median.
Gotcha.
But I definitely have some people on my team who are like older than me. My team is comprised of 10 people, including me at this point, and I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4 people older than me.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like in the middle in that way. But
that makes sense. Weird tangent. What is your MBTI?
Oh, shoot.
Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, is that the one MBTI? Is that the one with the 4 letters?
Yeah, the 4 letters. Like, I am INTJ or ENTJ in leadership roles. Do you know if you're introverted or extroverted?
I'm extroverted when I do that one.
Are you like more like what's in front of you, or more like creative vision, like future thinking imagination?
I'm the future thinking one. Yeah. The creative.
Okay.
Because I remember people thought it was really weird because they knew I was an engineer. So it's like engineers are always like, you know, calculated.
That's why I asked. Yeah, that's what I thought. Are you like more systematic, organized, or more of like the kind of spontaneous?
Oh, definitely. Okay, it depends who you ask.
Gotcha.
Right. Spontaneous in terms of going and doing stuff, having fun, and even work. I like to bounce around different things. But in terms of my like routine, I'm almost like systematic, like gym every day.
Makes sense. Yeah, I feel that. Okay, I don't know if that helps anyone else, but just for my context, I'm starting to get a feel for you. So then, we're kind of jumping around here, but founding story of SS805. Yeah, so how did that come about? Like, so one of our common denominators obviously is K-pop dance. So like, and I started the K-pop team at UCI COP.
Okay.
So just a weird like, I didn't know that. Yeah, I know, founder. So like, how did that start? I'm just curious.
So it started at KCON. I believe it was 2013 or 2014.
Yeah.
At that point, I already like knew of K-pop. That's why I'm going to KCON. And I saw this group dancing at their, like, it wasn't RPD back in the day, but it was like they would just play random K-pop songs and full songs, and you would dance if you knew it. And there was this group from San Diego. I think it's like the San Diego Flash Mob or something like that.
Okay.
And they were the first people I saw like cover like BTS with individual members. It's like everyone else before was just dance the choreography.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, you know what? UCSB doesn't have that, and I want that. So I went there and I gathered some people that I would know. And I was like, oh, are you into K-pop? You into K-pop? You guys want to get together and dance, you know? Got in touch with the UCSB K-pop club, not the dance team.
Gotcha.
They helped me recruit members, and then that's how it started.
Oh, so that was the first like K-pop dance team there. Oh, that's cool. So you just made it happen. For my story, I don't know if it's similar, but we had like a KCN, which is like Korean Culture Night, and they had like, you know, there's like a modern suite, and they wanted to do a K-pop suite, and they knew I was into K-pop. So like, hey, do you want to lead this? I'm like, sure. And then it's still there today.
Nice.
since 2011. So
That's pretty cool. So it spawned from like the KCN.
Exactly. Basically spawned from KCN. Okay, I know we talked about bowling a little bit off camera, but like this could probably be its own episode because all three of us are bowling nerds, it seems like, or at least enthusiasts. Solomon wants to get into it.
I'm like a beginning enthusiast.
Exactly, beginning enthusiast, but you're aspiring, and same here. And I'm mid-level maybe, and then Travis is like super professional. But like, okay, well, let's just jump straight to the meat. Like, so you've bowled at 300 before?
I have bowled at 300.
Was it just one time or multiple times, or like?
It was one time sanctioned.
Okay.
In practice, I don't track my scores.
Gotcha.
So maybe I've done it there.
Yeah.
But sanctioned, like in an official league, I've done it one time.
Okay, so the meat of the question is, how did you get to 300, and like what helped you get there? Because for those of you who don't know, if you've ever bowled, 300 is basically perfection in like how many rolls? Like 12
rolls.
12 rolls, right? 12 perfect rolls, strikes, which is impossible. Well, not impossible, but it's really hard. So how do you get there?
So part of it is luck. That's why bowling is not an Olympic sport, because there is a decent amount of luck involved, right? You could throw the identical shot like 2 times in a row, and it's not going to do the same thing.
It's not because I suck. It's because luck is not on my side today.
Exactly. It's the luck, you don't know how many like 299s there are out there, 298s, perfect shots, like professionals that do it. But basically, the story of my 300 is the week before in league, I bowled the back 11. So what that means is like I got like a spare or an open, and I bowled 11 strikes in a row to close out the game.
Damn.
And I was like, turned to the front desk, like, turn my lane back on. I just want to see if I can do it, So that was like the week before. And then somehow I was just on the hot streak. So the week after, I bowled my 300. There was some luck involved. For people who don't know bowling, I did bowl like a Brooklyn strike at some point, which what that means is like I'm right-handed. So the ball should be hitting the head pin on the right side, right? But I missed my shot and actually went over to the left side opposite.
Interesting.
And then a lot of bowlers don't consider that a real strike,
Interesting.
But I'm like, hey, all 10 went down. So that was part of my 300. And once I got that like in frame 9 or 10 or something like that. And then I just finished it off. I remember in my last shot, 11 strikes in a row. At that point, everyone was watching. It's like it's like you're used to the bowling alley being so loud, right?
Yeah.
But it's dead silent.
Everyone's
I'm like
holding their breath.
I was like, can you guys just keep bowling? Because like this is different from like what I'm used to. Right. And I ended up like, I guess is the showman in me at this point, right?
Yeah.
I like stood there and waited and chugged my beer.
Yeah.
I had like a 32-ounce beer.
Oh, jeez.
Right. And I was like, if you all want to watch, you're gonna watch me chug this beer first. So I chugged my beer and then gulped it down, picked up the bowling ball, and it's like, all right, let's go, let's do it. Threw it, got the last strike, and the whole bowling center just exploded.
Damn. That's very Travis. It's very Travis. Nice. Okay, so like we have other topics, but like TLDR, like what do you think were the main things that help you get to that point? Right? Because you obviously need some, besides the luck, you need consistency and the training and like the improvement constantly. So how do you get there?
It was a lot of practice, right? To become consistent enough. I was on the UCSB bowling team. So we had professional coaching, but that just basically gave us lane time to practice and just repetitive, like practice makes permanent, not perfect. So make sure when you're practicing, you're actually correcting the right stuff. So get your form down, get your hours in, get your reps in, and then that's how I got there.
Nice. So just put in the hard work.
Basically.
No cheat codes.
That's going to be a theme of this conversation.
I bet. Okay, so let's move on now. So the next topic is anime, Cobra Kai, fitness, cosplay. So these are some of the things you wanted to talk about and you're obviously known for. So quick warm-up question, like how did you get into anime? What is your favorite anime, like top favorite anime and why?
Got you. Okay. What can I say to not be too weird here with anime?
Too weird. Well, I'm a nerd, so I got into anime. What else is there?
But yeah, I mean, growing up, gone to anime is everywhere, right? Toonami was a big thing, like Cartoon Network growing up, Dragon Ball Z.
And we're the same era, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was like seeing these guys, like, fight off, like, the aliens and things like that. Giant robots with Gundam. I just thought it was cool as a kid. That's how I really got into it. And then I just never really like grew out of it. I think the intro is like I was an introverted nerd into an extroverted nerd, right? It's kind of cool to see how anime has evolved from being like, oh, you watch anime? Lame, to where like, bro, that's a sick anime. You're at the gym and everyone's like, oh, that's a sick shirt. The anime inspired
everyone's wearing anime like gear all the time now. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I got into anime.
Yeah. So it was just around. So top anime recs. Or your favorites, I guess. Not necessarily recs, but your favorites.
My favorites. Okay.
My guest should know my favorites because I always wear this anime shirts.
Yes.
Almost every single podcast episode, you'll see which anime I like.
I know. Like you're a big One Piece fan, But unfortunately, that's one I haven't watched yet.
Okay.
It's like 10,000 episodes, and I'm not ready for that commitment. But I really liked.
There you go. There's Travis. We'll get to
there it is.
We'll get to his abs in a bit, but
all right, yeah. So I mean, from that, Dragon Ball was a huge inspiration of my life and like my goals now, right? So, obviously the easy one to say is Dragon Ball, just because it's so prominent. I also really like, shoot.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah. Obviously, I liked Gundam a lot growing up. That's why I'm like such an avid fan of building Gundam models right now.
Yeah.
I do have to go back and watch the original ones. But the one weird one that people might think is really weird is Rent a Girlfriend.
I watched that recently. I liked it. Yeah.
It's like I don't want to say guilty pleasure because it's like I don't watch it for the guilty part.
I get what you mean. Yeah. So what do you like about it?
Just the maybe this isn't a good reason, but it had a really good way of leaving you hanging of like when you watch the next episode, right?
It did.
You can kind of relate. I think the main character sort of relates to old Travis, like high school Travis, who's still a little bit in me too,
I feel it.
Yeah, whereas like you're kind of like not the most confident guy, or the main character's not the most confident guy, and he's just a good guy at heart. He seems a little weird at first, with the way they introduce him. But like he's just honestly a good guy. And I like watching good guys who aren't like the most popular and the most successful or whatever, like really get their shot in life, right? Because that's why I aspire to be like just a good guy. And in that show, the main character is like deemed like kind of like a loser or reject. And
hence why he rents girlfriends.
That's why he rents girlfriends, right? But his good traits shine through, right? Through these weird situations that they happen to get put in, right? His personality comes out and he starts making these like this rent a girlfriend, like kind of like say, hey, this guy's like pretty good. You know?
He's actually reliable. He's actually a good person. Yeah.
So that's the one, I guess, hot take or weird anime that I like and I recommend.
Nice. Yeah, I'll link to link to it in the show notes as well. It is a kind of like it sounds very weird, and then you watch it, you're like, okay, I can see where this is going. I will say just my own sort of critique on it, and again, I also recommend it, is like, it feels like he's fairly useless until like the end of season 1 or 2 or something like that. And I was kind of like angry. I'm like, how come he's not doing anything? But to be fair, the focus is on the main girl because she is like badass. She doesn't need anyone. She's like doing her thing. So I appreciated that. Like she was a good like female protagonist. And I guess by contrast, he's just annoying, but he catches up eventually.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the part where like I got not hooked to, but like could relate to, because he is like the guy where watching as a third person, right? You're like, what are you doing? Like you're making such a big mistake, or why aren't you doing this? Like step up. But you're like, put yourself in his shoes. Like, high school Travis or younger Travis, like, man, I would hesitate like that too. Yeah. Like that's why I like related a little bit.
Definitely. So moving into my next question is, maybe it can be combined, but like, how has anime influenced you? I mean, you do cosplay obviously a lot and you do it really well, but also you mentioned Cobra Kai. So I'm curious, and we can clump those together, but also like, how did you get into cosplay? I'm assuming because of anime, right?
Yeah.
But like, what was your journey like for cosplay as well? So I guess those three, like anime influence, Cobra Kai influence, and then like cosplay like journey.
Got you. So anime influence, I touched base on it a little bit earlier with Dragon Ball, but it's basically all shonens, right? Work hard, be a good person, and good things will come to you, right? Main characters are typically not the most popular or the coolest, right? But they always have like a good mentality of like, if I do good things, if I work hard, I get what I want, or not what I want, but things happen well for you, you know? So I think that really influenced me in like growing up, like, you know, don't be mean, don't be a dick, right? Just be nice to people and work hard and just keep pushing your own goals and helping others when they need help. And, you know, things will just roll along pretty well. And sort of leads into Cobra Kai as well. I started watching that because I saw the Karate Kid back in the day, and it was whatever to me. But I thought it was cool that they were bringing it back. Not a remake, but kind of like continuation of the story. I thought the show was funny, but it kind of put a twist to where Cobra Kai were the good guys versus they were being the bad guys in the original movies. And their motto of strike first, strike hard, no mercy. I kind of took it to heart. Like, that means the way that they explained it in Cobra Kai. I don't want to just like quote the show, but strike first. Like, don't wait. Your opportunity is there. Don't hesitate. Just take it. You know, what's the worst that can happen, right? It's like you see a position, a job that you want, and you know you're not sure you qualify or not. You know, just apply, because if you wait too long and you finally decide to do it, maybe the position's closed, right? That's strike first, strike hard is whenever you do something, commit. You know, don't like pull your punches. Just like full send into whatever decision you just made. And then no mercy is don't give up. No matter how hard things can get, like, just keep pushing, right? Don't give up, and show no mercy, not to your opponent or whatever you're trying to tackle, but to yourself. The gym might be difficult, right? But don't like slack, you know, show yourself no mercy and push through. That's how Cobra Kai really influenced me. And that pushed me in the gym. Anime pushed me in the gym. And cosplay, you know, I went to Anime Expo. It was fun. And I was like, you know, I saw all these people cosplaying. Let me try it too. And it was a very positive response when I first cosplayed. So that's what drove me to continue. Like, hey, you know, like, this is kind of fun. Like, you know, making my costume, dressing up and acting out the characters sometimes, and just meeting other people who are into it. That was really fun. And it's nice to be like at the convention, like people were like, hey, you have a really nice cosplay. You know, I can't take a picture with you and things like that. That was pretty fun too.
I like it. I liked in hearing you like loop those together. It seems like it's easy to connect the dots that like Travis is the main character in his story, which is great. I respect that a lot about you, and like the other things of like you seem to do things that you want to do and that you enjoy, and you make it happen. And again, just the influences of like anime and whatnot, I can really see that. So yeah, I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Any like I guess insight. I've had a couple cosplayers on the show before, and they kind of gave their insights. But do you have any insights or lessons or takeaways on how to do cosplay successfully?
Got you. Number one, cosplay is like not a black and white test, right? Like, you don't have to be the most anime accurate. You know, if you want to be like a Hispanic Goku, you know, don't let people say,
It's
bro,
not
you don't. It's not
accurate.
you. It's
Yeah.
not accurate. It's not you, right? You don't have to have like the body to be like, you know, just do it for fun. The best cosplayers are the people who do it with a passion, and they really want to just embody the character, and it's like, oh yeah, this is my representation of the character, and just do it. So that's my most, I guess, advice for people who want to get into cosplay. Like, just take that step. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Different people cosplay different ways. Some people are crafters. They like making their armor, their clothes, their wigs, and things like that. Personally, for me, like, what I drifted towards was like fitness cosplay, because it aligned with my goals already, and it's where like my best cosplays I come from. Right? It might not be like the best cosplays in the world, but it will. It's what I drift towards. So that's why if you see pictures of my cosplay, that's why a lot of fitness goes into that. But yeah, fitness, there's the crafters, there's the people who just like really embody the character and like act it out. You know, a lot of different things you can do with cosplay.
Nice. And that's a good segue into our next topic for the fitness and nutrition. But I wanted to like add a note into there too, is my favorite cosplays are the ones where people combine things that you wouldn't even expect or interpret that character, like you said, in a way that you like weren't expecting. So that's like true artistry, where it's actually a unique, different sort of thing. Like maybe this is just an easy example, but like a Venom cosplay. Like I saw this photo or video of this guy who had like a little Venom thing pop out of his shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, so it's something like that where it's like it's not Venom and it's not some sort of half. Sometimes they'll do like a half Venom, right? But it's like this like sort of thing popping out of his shoulder and it like moves around and stuff.
Like the symbiote.
Exactly,
like,
symbiote. Exactly right. So with that in mind, it's like people do cosplays similar to that or combine some things or like gender benders or like sort of like half-halves. I think those are the most inspirational cosplays, or like what you do is combining like your interests together to make that one thing. I think those make it the artistry more special.
Oh, for sure. I definitely like those think out of the box cosplays. Gender bends are always really fun. Really like nice to see. Yeah. Because you can't just buy the costume. You have to like create it. And
exactly.
Like,
you can't buy this at like the Halloween store.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely the creative ones, especially when they mix things together, combining animes. I even like the casual cosplays where like you are a character but in casual clothes.
Yeah, or like modern day fashion.
Exactly.
But you can see like where it's going.
Yeah, inspired by that character and like still the wig and the contact lenses, so you still look like the character in terms of like, you know, your the main like aesthetics of that character. Yeah. But your clothes is like more inspired by their costumes in the show.
Yeah, it's funny because my first like anime convention, I did a like a group of people. We did like princess, but casual streetwear. But obviously, and I was Elsa, but I was a male Elsa, so it was a gender bender Elsa, but it was casual clothing. Yeah, and then the rest of them were girls, so they were all doing regular princess, but like inspired by like normal casual wear. Yeah, so it was really fun. So just like on
that's pretty sick. Yeah, that's a cool one. We should do Blue Lock this year. I don't know if you guys watch that anime.
I don't, but it's the soccer one, right?
Soccer one,
yeah. I heard
get a whole squad together and just roll up as Blue Lock, have a soccer ball passing around. Yeah. That'll be fun.
It's funny because for Choreos, we did this Pasadena anime convention a year and a half ago, something like that. And we all were, our costume was Haikyuu. Okay. And I watched the movie randomly and it was great, but I don't watch the anime. And so I was like, I don't know who number 11 is, but like that's who I am. So that was fun. We did a whole set with like Haikyuu cosplay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So last topic, fitness and nutrition. So you're obviously big into fitness, and then, you know, we showed some photos and people check out your IG. They can get some fan service photos. But so how did your fitness journey start, and then like how has it evolved since then?
So I've always gone to the gym. Just like I feel like that's what a lot of people did, you know.
Always like in high school or like
in college.
Okay.
Like once I didn't go in high school. I was a pretty skinny kid. And then when I went to college, you would go with your friends. You know, that's all the guys. Like, hey, let's go to the gym. You know, no one's really knowing what they do. You know, so you're just out there, and it became like a routine. Got a little more into it, like developed it. Because one summer I went back home and started working out with my uncle. So I just continued the routine. You know, it's like a fitness program. And I would go to the gym like every day after work after I graduated college. And then eventually, my friend that I was going to the gym with, he moved away. So we had a routine to go like, you know, every other day. And then when he moved away, I was like, well, shoot, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't have the routine with him. So I started going every day because I had no one to go with. And then I started looking into like different splits and things like that. How can I get like, you know, what can I work out more? And then it just really evolved from there. And one day I like looked in the mirror. Well, I guess this is part of it too. Like I looked in the mirror, like, and I was like, what happened? You know, I used to like play soccer every day. I used to be like pretty skinny and fit, but like I don't look like that anymore. So then that's when I actually started getting more into the nutrition side of it, because working out and not really knowing what you do will get you stronger, but your body really reacts better to nutrition.
Right. So I guess the question is, why did you go to the gym? What were your goals?
I see. So again, you know, I started off just like going to, you know, stay fit, stay healthy. Seemed like the thing to do for everyone, right? It's like you want to be in shape, you know, and not gain too much weight, you know. You go to the gym.
It's like an aesthetic sort of.
Kind of aesthetics, but more health as well too.
Health and aesthetics.
Yeah, I grew up with high cholesterol as a kid. So I was always like pushed into like doing sports and like fitness with my parents. And As I started working out more in the gym, I started like seeing the gains. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. So I just kept going with it. More for like personal, I guess aesthetics would be one thing, but like I liked how I looked when I went to the gym.
Right. And then, I mean, like, I had my trainer on the show too. And like, I think you can't really put a price tag on how you feel health wise, right? Like energy and how you feel. But also, I wouldn't discount like the confidence you get with like, respecting your body, but also sculpting it to the way you want. That boosts like it kind of transitions to everything else in your life, because if you can physically like get your body to a point where you feel great, that it'll only like help everything else out.
Of course.
So I feel that too. So then at some point you started to learn more about the nutrition side, and then get into, is it fair to say like more bodybuilding since you do cosplay? Bodybuilding sense of like body composition, right? And then you started doing that more. Was it just for yourself, and then you kind of stumbled into like fitness cosplay, or?
Yeah, it was more so for myself at first.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't like cosplay was like my number one thing in my mind. I wasn't working out for cosplay. But I started like I said, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I'm getting stronger, but I'm not really liking how I look. So I just looked into like nutrition and like, the macros, like calorie counting and things like that. And yeah, that's how I got into the nutrition side of it. And that's combined with working out is how I get the body I have now for like cosplays.
Yeah. So then my questions are, and we've talked about this before, because I always like picking your brain on how you do nutrition and stuff. But what were some of the biggest challenges in your body composition sort of journey, and then like maybe some of the best lessons that you've learned of trying to recomp your body?
Got it. Like the biggest challenge at first was just getting into nutrition, right? You're used to just eating whatever you want, and eating was more for, obviously to feed your body, but you eat what you want and enjoy it and just like live your life that way. But in terms of nutrition for the gym, you have to start really paying attention to what you eat. More so like how much you eat rather than what you eat is like my philosophy of it. So that's like the biggest challenge, was starting to like track the calories and macros. And the biggest lesson I learned is don't restrict yourself, saying like, oh, I need to eat like this type of food, or, oh, you know what? This influencer or this like article says I have to eat this type of food or do this type of thing, and eat before a certain time of the day. And I can't do that. That doesn't work in my life. So I'm just not going to do it. So the biggest lesson is find what works for you and stick with it, because consistency is the number one thing.
What do you think people get wrong in their own sort of nutrition or fitness journey in that sense? I have my own ideas, because people will talk about like, oh, what are your goals? And they're like, oh, I want to lose weight or get cut or get more tone and all this other stuff. But then ask them like, are you tracking your food and what are you doing? And then it goes in a bunch of different directions. But what do you think people get wrong mostly about nutrition that you've learned?
Like for sure, people think about what they eat more than how much they eat.
Like, oh, this is healthy. I can eat like 8,000 calories of this, right?
Yeah. Or it's like they don't know how many calories because they don't track. Yeah. Tracking is not hard, but it's tedious.
Right.
No one wants to track. But people are always like, oh yeah, I can't eat French fries. I can't eat carbs. I can't eat this because that's what's going to make me fat or not lose weight, right? And then they start eating like salads or fruits and good stuff to eat, right? But they don't track it. So they feel like they're eating all that stuff and then they're going to get healthier, but they're just eating too much of it. And then also cheat days, honestly, like, because if people are too restrictive with their diets, they feel like, oh, I'm looking forward to my cheat day. I need my cheat days or else I can't hold on to this. And their cheat days basically erase all their work for the week. That's what my opinion of it is. Because those cheat days, when you average it out for the rest of the week, it just ends up like netting zero, right?
It's like math, right?
It's all math. It's super simple. It's just numbers.
It's like simple, but not easy, but it's simple. Like it's straightforward, right?
It's straightforward. I'm not going to downplay the importance of macros and micros, and eating certain foods will help you improve certain things in your body. But to get started, all it is numbers. Engineer, right? So all it is calories in minus calories out. And if you're at a deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're at a surplus, you're going to gain weight. And how that weight is distributed is kind of based on how often you work out and what you work out. But that's the basic part of it, and that's why it's like so simple.
So now a more technical question to get into it for all the fitness nerds or people. I think this is one of the biggest questions. What was your so body recomposition and then body fat percentage going down for your cosplays? What was like the most successful, or like what was your body fat percentage for like your best cosplay when you're trying to really lean down?
So my best body fat percentage overall has been between 10 and 11%. I do like a body spec scan like every summer right before Anime Expo, just see progress year over year, right? And it actually tells you like the composition like everywhere.
Right, like each area.
Exactly. So if you're just looking like lowest percent like anywhere, I've gotten my abs down to 7%.
Okay.
And I don't know how I guess that's genetics of where it like loses.
Yeah.
But my abs have gone to just like 7%, but like combining with my legs and my arms and everything, it was like an average of 11%, 10% body fat. It's my lowest.
Cool. So then the big question is, how do you lose fat?
Okay.
Right? I think most people want to know that, right? So how do you get down to abs 7% and full body 10, 11%?
So that's like the simple part, right? It's just math. Literally like, it's not like a secret. I will tell anyone who asks me. What I do first is I establish my equilibrium or my my baseline. So with my lifestyle, I work out 6 days a week, typically, and go to work and all that stuff, and just keeping it consistent. I needed to eat at that point maybe like 2,200 calories to maintain a day, right? I did that by doing my normal gym thing, weighing myself every morning, and then taking like that first week's average, and then track my calories for that first week as well, just like what do I need to survive. In terms of my normal life, not because I'm trying to starve myself.
Yeah.
And then the second week, I did the exact same thing where I would eat the exact same number of calories and keep a consistent workout schedule again. And if my body weight average for the week stayed the same between first and second week, I know that's my baseline. So from there, I just subtract 200 calories a day. So 200 calories like a bag of chips. So one bag of chips less a day. And I did it for like 2 to 3 months, depending on how hard I wanted to cut. And then you get the body you want.
Okay. So you're cutting the calories, but then do you like your macros? Do you consider that? Like, how do you change or modify that?
So I do modify my macros by cutting carbs and increasing protein. So I have a lot of protein in my diet, and I limited my carbs down to 50 grams a day at one point. And honestly, that was me like kind of like following what I've heard about like keto and stuff like that. And it kind of works.
So
I guess
it's more of a keto like approach to your macros.
A little more keto because I'm not purely fat and proteins.
Like 50 grams or whatever.
Yeah, I still have a little bit of carbs because I need to fuel my like workouts and stuff in my life.
Yeah.
Just going back and looking at like my body and everything like that, I had really strict, I guess like cutback on carbs before, and then I had other cuts where I didn't limit carbs as much. Talking about like 150 grams a day, right? And the results are similar. My body specs would say like different. So the biggest thing is just the calorie numbers and just enough protein for your muscles to grow. So they're looking at about like 1.2 grams per body weight per pound, right? So if you're like 100 pounds, just eat like the most is going to be like 100 to 120 grams.
Yeah.
Might be like the other way around, but.
Okay, yeah. I was always told at least like 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight if you, for your goal weight or something like that. But for girls, it might be like 0.8 or something. I don't know if that's right, but okay. But like the protein, if you kind of calculate that, then your other macros, your fat and your carbs will be adjusted based on the total calories, right? Hopefully you guys can follow along with that. If you're a gym person, you probably could. But I think that's the thing, because the question is like, okay, if I'm just a normal person who's not Travis working out 6 days a week, how do I reduce my body fat? Because I think usually most people want to do that, if not health, but like, And so you're saying just track everything, calories, and trying to adjust it, figure out your baseline.
Exactly.
Be at a slight deficit.
Yeah. Everyone who asks me, I always tell them the same thing. You don't need to work out 6 days a week. You don't need to go crazy at the gym, lift heavy weights.
Unless you're the protagonist of your anime like Travis. But yeah.
So you just need to have a consistent life, right? Your gym routine, whether it's 1 day or 7 days a week, right? Keep it consistent. Don't mix it up like too much, because then your body's going to fluctuate and you won't be able to adjust your calories properly, right? If you're at a state of equilibrium with your life and you gym like the same routine every week and still making improvements, right? Still pushing at the gym, intensity level, right? And then you can like figure out how many calories you need per week to survive and keep your weight maintained. And then that's the most important thing, because some people are like, Travis, you get that body because you gym 6 days a week. I'm like, well, you can gym 1 day a week and get this body too. You might not have like the biggest muscles, but at least you can still lose fat, because all it comes down to is eating less calories than you burn. And if it's consistent, it's really easy to track, or easier to track if you're consistent.
Makes sense. Cool. That was pretty much it. All right. Anything else on that topic before I move on to rapid fire questions?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's the meat of it. Honestly, like what you said, I think it lays out a good like framework of how to approach it. If your goal is to like lose fat, but obviously it's like working out for health is very important, working out for have good energy, but obviously on top of all this stuff that he's already mentioned, get good sleep, you know, like hydrate, don't stress out too much.
Yep.
Because my trainers always say it's like, how's your sleep? How is your stress levels? Because if those are like out of whack, it's an uphill battle, right?
Yeah. Like you want to set yourself up like for success. Sleep just is going to help your body recover and give you energy to work out. Yeah. And then obviously stress, I mean, sometimes is unavoidable, but try to like mitigate it as much as possible. Gym is sort of like my stress relief, because I don't have to deal with work. I don't have to deal with the like projects I have outside of work at home, things like that. I can just focus on my lifts, and really helps me de-stress there too.
Definitely. I think one thing I'll add in there, and we kind of got this from the episode with my fitness coach, which is like the consistency. Obviously, you mentioned is key. For me, I know, or for a lot of people, sometimes the reasoning is it's hard for me to find the time to go to the gym, or sometimes like I can make it and I'm inconsistent or whatever. For me, it's like I hired a coach mostly to check in with them for accountability, because I'm paying for it. I have to go 4 days a week. If I don't, then I'm wasting my money, and I don't like wasting my money. So for me, it's not an option to not go to the gym. I will go, and I don't have to think about it. And I think my biggest advice is if you can set up your life or your routine or whatever habits you want to build so that you don't have to think about those things. It's like people don't think about showering or brushing their teeth, right? It's part of their routine.
Exactly.
And if you can leverage accountability in that to develop the routine, then you never have to think about it again.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of like my most important point, right? For gym and nutrition. Yeah. Don't do things that you can't maintain, right? So people set up these diets to where they're like cutting like 600 calories from their day, or they say I can only eat like this type of food, or I need to go to the gym, or this time of the day, right? Don't let that trip you up. Like, I'm not discounting any of that. All that can work.
Because it can work, yeah.
It can work, and like I don't have any proof to say it doesn't work. But if that's holding you back from maintaining consistency, like don't worry about it. Just do what you can. Like, no lie, my cutting period, I'm eating Chipotle. I'm eating In-N-Out.
In-N-Out, yeah.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's. Like a lot of fast food, just because they already have the calories posted and the macros posted. So it's easy
convenient
to track.
Yeah.
Right? And people like you say, how are you eating In-N-Out and still cutting? I'm like, it's just numbers.
It's numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because like you mentioned that before. And so whenever not a cheat meal, but when I know I can fit it in, I'm like, Travis is going In-N-Out. I'm going In-N-Out.
There you go. Yeah.
here's my 800 calories I budgeted for this burger. I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to say, like, I don't have cheat meals because I don't need cheat meals.
Because it fits in. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm enjoying the same food I would when I'm not cutting, and I don't feel the need to cheat.
I like it. Okay. Ready for rapid fire?
Yep.
Cool. First question, Billboard question. If you could have a sign for millions of people to see, what would it say?
It's just numbers.
Nice. I like it.
It's just numbers.
What is one of the hardest challenges you faced in your life, and what did you learn from it?
Definitely learning how to adapt to other people. You will have other people join your life by choice or by, just life. Yeah, it happens. So not everyone likes to be treated the same. Not everyone reacts the same to how you act. So if you really want to make things work with someone, you have to be able to adapt and compromise with that person as well. I'm not saying like bend over for that person, but like
compromise.
And,
yeah, makes sense. Self-inflicted wounds. So do you have a story about something that's gone wrong in your life that was your own fault and you can't blame anyone else because you did it to yourself?
I probably do. I would say like finances for sure, or finances and also school is two different things. Yeah. Pick one.
Finances.
I got used to living in a way where I didn't have to pay much rent, and I had a lot more disposable income. And then when I bought my house, I wasn't really like, used to that, like not having as much disposable income. And it wasn't like I was like losing money or was like in debt, but I definitely wasn't building money, right? And I had to learn how to like adjust that and account for that, because now I have way more expenses from when I didn't have like a consistent mortgage payment.
Right, that makes sense. I like that. If you could redo one thing, what would it be?
Going back to college, or even maybe even before that, when I was more into like martial arts and stuff. Just don't be so scared. Like I would be one of those cool like trickers, like people doing backflips and kicks everywhere. If I just didn't like chicken out from learning those moves, right? I can do like the simple like 540s and stuff back in the day, but I never really got down any of the more intricate or dangerous tricks. And if I can go back and just have myself just step up and just do it, and then it would be pretty cool. No.
Nice. That's cool. That was me in high school. I was throwing myself around and doing tricks and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Cool. If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be now? Any age, any time period.
Don't be scared. Like, again, this is like high school Travis and prior versus like Travis now. Like Cobra Kai, right? Like strike first. Like don't wait and don't hesitate. If you want something, just try it. Like I'm not saying like steal stuff, but like just commit and do it. Like the worst thing that can happen is you fail, and that's not even bad. You learn from failures. So just go for it.
Was there something besides tricking that you would do or try if you weren't scared?
Just a lot of things, like not so much things specific, like things I want to try, but like in life, like
just a mindset.
Just a mindset, whether it's like, going after like a love interest or
that was me.
Yeah.
That was the scariest thing I've ever done in high school, was asking a girl out.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That's the biggest fear for like most guys. But yeah, just go after your love interest, go after your hobbies. If you want to play a sport, just do it. Don't be worried about what other people think. Just go out there and do it.
Nice. I like it. In the last few years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has improved your life?
Few years.
Recently.
Yeah. Definitely taking time to relax, right? Sometimes I really like to pack my schedule out and just like go, and never really get a chance to like slow down and stop. But taking a little bit of time every day to just like, this is typically for me right before bed, just relax and just like have like at least 15-30 minutes of like nothing, right? To really recenter and just like, don't worry about stress or anything. That just like be yourself, be away from everything, and just relax.
I like that. I feel like I also want to do more of that, like just time disconnected from everything and just kind of start up and a wind down like period after I wake up and before I go to sleep. I think that's like my ideal, but it's just too much of like, all right, the first thing is phone and the last thing is phone.
Yeah. Everyone like winds down and like starts up a little differently. Yeah. If it's like, if you start up with like playing a couple matches of Pokemon TCG in the morning to get your brain going, that's all you.
This is Travis talking to himself. Hey, if you need to open up a few packs, just do it.
Yeah, if you need to open some packs to get awake, then go for it, right? But there's no right or wrong thing. Right. Everyone's different.
Who would you call successful, and how do you define success?
I would say my mom and dad, for sure. They're super successful. Not because they're like the most wealthy people in the world, but they came from nothing. Like my dad came from a refugee camp, right? And he was able to build a life here. He didn't know my mom, like when they came here from refugee camps. They've actually met here. But coming as a refugee, working his way up to become like a manager or at his old company before he retired, and having even like a partial ownership of that company because he worked there for so long, and the owner's like you deserve like 15% of this company or something like that.
Gee.
Yeah, like my mom and dad came from nothing. They're able to start good lives here in America and raise me and my sister to be the people we are right now and at least semi-successful. That's success right there. Like being able to not just help yourself, but help others like continue to grow.
I love it. Mm-hmm. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing right now, or what would you try?
If I couldn't fail.
Besides opening up more packs.
Yes. Got packs every time.
Yeah.
Man, if I couldn't fail, I would honestly shoot for I'm not saying I hate my job or anything, but like a more entertaining job. I really want to be able to use my skills of manufacturing and creativity to make things for people to smile. Like, so the job in mind is like my company doesn't, I'm not saying I'm gonna quit, okay?
Yeah.
But like being like an Imagineer for Disney, like you get to manufacture and create like really like interesting and technological things that people get to go enjoy, right? Your technology, your creation is like making people smile. And that's something that I would like to try if I couldn't fail.
Do you have a favorite hot take or something that you think most people wouldn't agree with?
Rent-A-Girlfriend's a good anime.
Nice. I like it. What is one of the best or most worthwhile investments that you've made in either time, money, energy, etc.?
The gym. Yeah, I'd say like just getting into fitness and nutrition, like energy, aesthetics, just everything came from, being able to invest time in the gym.
Favorite recent purchase in the $50 to $100 range that has impacted your life the most in the last, let's say, 6 months?
50 to 100 range.
We can change the parameters, but it's basically like a relatively cheap purchase that impacted you recently.
I don't think that's a good question because you don't really remember cheap purchases.
This is like a consumerism question.
Yeah,
something that people could pick up.
Something that has influenced me
or like impacted you.
Impacted me in the last recently. That was relatively cheap. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that one.
So I'll throw in one for me that comes to mind. It's my Crunchyroll subscription. So it's like $15 a month, but like since I've been on an anime binge, like no ads plus the UI, the experience of using Crunchyroll on the app is so good compared to like pirated stream sites or whatever. So like also I have this like this massage ball thing like for like my lower back. It's like a relatively cheap purchase, but I don't know if anything comes to mind. I'm just jogging memories.
Yeah.
Maybe we could pass it.
Yeah, we could pass out. Like, I mean,
Travis only buys expensive stuff, guys.
No, the most because I don't buy a whole lot of stuff that's like impactful.
Yeah.
But this phone case is pretty nice. Like now, I didn't know about like I didn't have a phone case with like a magnet before, and I can just stick it to stuff and just like boom. That's pretty cool.
Nice. All right, last one. Favorite books, movies, videos, articles, or media that you share or recommend the most besides Rent-A-Girlfriend?
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about like Cobra Kai, things like that. Favorite books, media.
Any sort of media that you recommend.
I do really like growing up, like the Harry Potter. I'm actually going to see the play tomorrow.
There's a play?
Yeah, there's a play that like it's a continuation of the story after the 7th book.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to see that tomorrow. But yeah, I recommend Harry Potter. It's like a light read, easy read. Not too,
When you say light, you mean like conceptually or you mean like length or what do you mean?
I think length is not, the font's pretty big.
Okay.
I'm a slow reader and I still was able to read those books. But also conceptually, it's not too deep.
Gotcha.
You can make anything deep if you really dive into it. But I think it's like a more lighthearted read. It's enjoyable.
Okay. Harry Potter. All right. That is the end for rapid fire questions. We'll go into ending questions. So Travis, what are you grateful for?
Definitely grateful for everyone in my life. Seems like a cop-out answer, but my parents recently I've been through some stressful times like since like the end of last year, and my parents being here, my family being here to support me has helped me a lot. And just my friends and family, Tracy, my girlfriend, was there to support me when I was going through, like, this is like honestly some of the toughest times I've been through in my whole life since November. And they're really able to support me and help me like get by until like, things start picking up and getting better again. So definitely grateful for them.
Nice. Do you have any final ask from the audience or any final takeaways you'd like them to have from this conversation?
Yeah. So just don't be scared to like pursue what you want to do. Don't hesitate. Just go for it. If you're scared of failure, it's not going to kill you, right? Like failure is not going to kill you. It's just going to make you stronger. And keep life simple, right? In engineering, we have a term called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So don't overcomplicate life. Don't overcomplicate like your gym or anything you want to do. Just keep it simple and pursue it.
I like it. All right, Travis, where can we find you? Any social media handles, websites, anything that you want to, if people are curious to what you're up to or want to reach out?
Yeah, so I only really post on Instagram for my social media. So at official T_T.
Nice.
And I dance with Untitled, so you can find me there for their dance videos and also dance and feature in other people's dance videos too. But basically Instagram.
Nice.
Find me there.
Cool. We love it. All right. Thank you, Travis, again for being here. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot from this conversation and you have a lot of great insights. So
thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me and really had a fun time talking to you today.
Nice. Cool. All right. Final sign off from my audience. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Remember to always be kind to other people, especially yourself. And reminder that there's always something you can learn from someone if you take the time to listen. So thanks for being here.